Mummy, what's a lesbian?
So there's this country called... Hello, lovely people, and happy Pride Month. My name is Jessica. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a disabled, vintage fashion wearing lesbian who makes videos about queer history, living with a chronic illness, and parenting as a queer couple with my wife, Claudia. And we're about to be parents of 3. I'm here to help you start navigating those difficult questions your children might have about LGBTQ+ people, plus feelings they or their friends may be having. Wait, hang on though. My kids are quite little. Is this going to be family friendly? Yeah, it's a common thought that LGBTQ+ topics aren't family friendly because they deal with sex. But a person's sexuality or gender identity isn't just about action that happens under the sheet. It's about who you are as a person, and how you learn to see yourself in regards to that is important. Personally, I can say I had gay feelings since I was 4 years old, and whilst I didn't really know what the word lesbian meant or fully understand why I felt very passionately about always sitting next to that one girl at nursery, or why the idea of marrying a Disney prince was just ew, I did know that there was something a bit different about it. Funnily enough, for most of my childhood I actually thought I was secretly a twin who had been separated at birth. I was so sure there was this other girl out there who was my other half. Insert corny music here. And then I married her. And as the parent of an almost 4-year-old, I can very much understand how many questions young children ask, and how fudging an answer on the spot doesn't always cut it. It doesn't? No, just say, I don't know, or I'll look that up and get back to you. We all want to say the right thing when it comes to our children, but a third of British parents have never spoken to their child about what being LGBTQ+ even means. And if you don't tell them anything, they're going to 1, assume it's a bad thing, and 2, have even more questions. This year's been pretty devastating for LGBTQ+ people in terms of our governments attempting to roll back our rights, yes, even here in the UK. If you haven't noticed, I'm glad you're immune. So your child may have seen something mentioned in the news, or the fact it's Pride Month means they may have seen all of the pinkwashing companies like to do in June. But there are lots of ways that the topic will also come up naturally, which can help conversations feel less awkward. And if your child does have questions, you want to be prepared to answer them. Absolutely, yeah. No, I just want to make sure I'm saying the right thing. I totally get that. It's easy to let the fear of saying the wrong thing or making mistakes stop you from saying anything at all. But that's what this video is here for. So take a deep breath. You're soon going to feel more comfortable and confident talking to your child about queerness. I mean, don't go throwing the word queer out there willy-nilly though. That one is ours. A lot of the stats in this video have come from the charity Just Like Us, a UK-based organisation dedicated to supporting LGBTQ+ young people. I have linked their guide for non-LGBTQ+ parents and carers in the description under resources. Why is it so important to talk to my children about this? Can't I just wait till they come out? Well, why would they do that if they don't know it's safe to talk about these issues? Because I love them forever, no matter what. Okay, let's start with why these conversations are so important. Of course, the majority of straight parents, when surveyed, consider themselves to be supportive of LGBTQ+ people. You're watching this video right now. Yet a third of young LGBTQ+ people are still not confident that their parents will accept them if they come out. When parents avoid open communication, children may feel alone and unheard, which can then hinder their ability to process and cope with difficult situations. Like realising the way you feel is a little different to all your friends. I mentioned earlier that I had gay feelings from a very early age, and the thing that made a big difference in terms of feeling confident in myself was that there were a number of people who I knew my parents held in high esteem, both people they knew personally and famous figures of the past and present who happened to be gay. Of course, that wasn't the main thing they would tell me about the person. That wasn't why we were having the conversation necessarily, but just talking positively about a variety of people. Oh, he's a great sculptor. She's a brilliant author. I've always loved her style. Yes. Oh no, he went to prison for his activism. Over there. Yes, they're a very witty and artistic couple. Of course they couldn't get married. No, it was illegal. Having open conversations about LGBTQ+ topics with your children from a young age is really important in creating a supportive family environment where children grow up knowing that it's okay to be LGBTQ+ and that you would accept them if they came out to you. Like I said, my children are pretty young. We're not at the sexuality stage yet. Well, yeah, fine, but you're laying the groundwork there, and these chats aren't just in case your child is queer. You live in a diverse society. What's the main thing parents should teach their kids these days? How to be kind and stay safe online. Yeah, which is why I use Surfshark VPN, sponsor of today's video. Thank you, Surfshark. As we are helping our children navigate conversations about LGBTQ+ identities, it's also a great moment to talk about digital safety, because unfortunately the internet isn't always as lovely as we'd like. Surfshark protects your personal data, keeps your browsing private, and lets you access the internet as it should be, open and secure. Surfshark itself cannot track or monitor anything you do online, whether you're researching, streaming, or just trying to avoid those annoying trackers. Surfshark's got your back. Surfshark's also great for masking your IP address, whether that's staying safe on public Wi-Fi. Yes, you, I'm looking at you. A time recently when I found Surfshark very useful was when Claudia and I were in hospital for her TTTS surgery, and we were watching The Residents on Netflix. Very good show, by the way. And the NHS Wi-Fi said no, but it's okay because we turned on our Surfshark VPN. But my favourite thing about Surfshark, honestly, is that since it only uses one account on an unlimited number of devices, it's very cost effective, and we're about to be a 5-person family. I have to think of the future. Go to surfshark.com/Jessica or use code Jessica at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Cost effective for your family now from mine. The second reason it's important to talk about LGBTQ+ people and issues, even from a very early age, is that children aren't stupid. They are generally incredibly perceptive and pick up on what's going on in the world around them. Your child's probably aware that some children in their classroom have a mummy and a daddy, and some children have only one parent, and some children have 2 mummies or 2 daddies, and some children live with someone else entirely. Those of us with families that aren't in the majority group generally tend to do a lot of work teaching our children about how varied life is, and isn't that wonderful, darling? Families come in all shapes and sizes, etc, etc, etc. Children who aren't given extra information about differences tend to fill in the gaps with their own imagination, and they're not generally correct. I was once asked by a child who knows my son, "Did both your husbands die?" Sorry, what? "Did your husband die and her husband died, so now you're both Rupert's mummies?" You're aware of young widows but not lesbians? What century is this? Research suggests that not talking to children about an issue they are aware of means they are more likely to perceive it as negative. My parents won't even talk about it. Must be really bad. As Just Like Us reports, when an LGBTQ+ young person doesn't grow up in a supportive environment where positive, open conversations take place, they are 4 times more likely to become adults who feel ashamed of who they are, more than twice as likely to experience panic attacks, and nearly twice as likely to have depression. And okay, maybe your child isn't LGBTQ+, but your niece might be, or your child's best friend, or their boss. And isn't it wonderful that you're already helping them to navigate being a supportive ally? Yes, it is, but I'm just worried it's not appropriate to have these conversations when my children are so young. Can't I just wait a bit till they're older? When kids are too young to have these conversations, they're not. They're literally not. They're never too young. Do you think my wife and I just swap in and out of being mummy to our 4-year-old son, that we never interact in any way around him? But one of us lives in the walls? Do you genuinely think we've hidden every wedding photo and we'll take them out on his 16th birthday and finally reveal that we've been lesbians all along? There are plenty of ways to talk to young people about LGBTQ+ topics in a way that's entirely age appropriate. You don't need to talk about sex or even dating, but no child is too young to know that LGBTQ+ people exist. They see adults kissing, they know what love is. Your child may already have friends who have 2 mums or 2 dads. Discussing how families can look different is a great place to start with these conversations. Actually, mine don't know any children with same-sex parents, so we've never really brought it up. Please don't make my child be the first point of education on family diversity for every child he meets. "I have 2 mothers" should not be met with, "What? I didn't even know that was a thing. How'd you have 2 of them? Do you get extra snacks?" Yeah, the snack part is true. He's very good at telling each of us the other hasn't fed him. The point is, don't let your child feel left out for not knowing a way of being as possible before they run into it. Just give them the info beforehand. Ren, one of the young people Just Like Us spoke to for their guide, is quoted as saying, "Your child hears everything you say or imply about LGBT+ people, and they feel the expectations that you put on them to be cisgender and heterosexual. Your home should be a space in which LGBT+ identities are talked about and normalized in the same way that non-LGBT+ identities are. If your child knows that they can be whoever they are, they will be happier. more at peace with themselves and feel safe in their own home. You as a parent have the power to give that or take it away. Additionally, even if you're not bringing up LGBTQ+ topics with your child, that doesn't mean that they won't be hearing about it. No. Or encountering anti-LGBTQ+ biases. Just Like Us found that 78% of primary school pupils aged 4 to 11 have heard homophobic language, either in school or on social media. Babies. They're babies. Under the age of 11, that's a baby. That is a really high number. And it rises to 80% for secondary school pupils aged 11 to 18. Oh, really? I didn't realise that. I'm absolutely here to rubber stamp that from my own unfortunate childhood experiences. Church of England schools, guys. This type of language has a huge impact even if your child isn't LGBTQ+ themselves. Research has shown that all young people's mental health is better in schools where teachers talk positively about LGBTQ+ people. So you should care about how inclusive your child's school is regardless of their identity. I'm going to dig a little deeper into how LGBTQ+ people and topics are seen as explicit or adult in an upcoming video about whether Pride events should be family friendly. So please make sure you've hit the subscribe button if you want even a tiny chance that YouTube will actually give you a notification when I upload a video. Okay, so Jessica, this might be a silly question, but what if having these conversations means my child comes out to me? What to do if your child comes out? If your child comes out to you because of starting one of these conversations with them, that's great. Well done, you. They clearly feel comfortable and happy sharing that part of themselves with you. They trust you with who they are because you brought them up with the message that you will love them no matter what. If talking about LGBTQ+ topics with your child makes them feel safe enough to come out to you, that is something to be celebrated. As Rush, a 22-year-old non-binary young person, explained in the Just Like Us guide, when your child is telling you something, they are putting a lot of trust in you. Be thankful for it, or acknowledge it if you can in the moment. Even if it is a difficult conversation. I want to feel safe to tell my parents the painful stuff. No, I get that, and I know that there's nothing wrong with being gay. I'm just worried about the discrimination they might face, and I want them to be safe, obviously. Oof, tell me about it. My kid is allergic to milk. Do you know how many things secretly have milk in it? A lot of things. Not Oreos though, those are strangely vegan. I feel like I trust them less now. That's a very valid response. Being worried about your child is very normal. However, many of the LGBTQ+ young people who talk to Just Like Us shared that they know that parts of their life might be hard because of their queerness or transness. And it's not necessarily helpful to hear their parents point that out. As someone who also grew up disabled, I would also like to point out, please stop doing that to disabled children. Why must we? Hey kid, did you know your life's going to be harder? Wow. Thank you, adult. I had no clue. My entire life experiences up to this point had not in any way clued me in. It's more helpful for them to hear that you love them and will support them if they do face any challenges. It's also worth noting that research has shown that LGBTQ+ people with accepting and supportive families are more likely to lead happy, fulfilling and successful lives. Oh. You know those parents who are like, no, I don't want my child to come out because then they won't get married and I won't get grandkids. Well, you know what? Yeah, they can marry someone of the same sex and they can have children with them, but they don't have to let you into that child's life. So just be supportive. It can definitely be hard to find exactly the right words to say when someone comes out to you, especially if you're surprised. One of the things I quite like in the guide is that they just asked young people what they wish they could have heard from their parents when they came out. Things you should absolutely say to your child when they come out, according to Just Like Us. I'm so proud of you. I love every part of you and I'm so glad you could share this with me. How are you feeling? It must have taken a lot of courage to tell me. Were you worried about anything in particular? I'm here for you. This doesn't change how much I love you. Thank you for trusting me with this. What can I do to support you? What if I get it wrong? I know I'm meant to be fine if one of my children is LGBTQ+, but it's just not what I really pictured for my children, and I'm afraid I won't be ready and I'm just going to say the wrong thing. It will just kind of come out of me. Caring about making mistakes shows that you want to be a supportive parent and ally to your child, which is good. And young people don't need you to be perfect, they need you to try and to show that you care. Just put the effort in to learn how to support them. You might make mistakes, but that isn't the end of the world. It's more important to acknowledge when you've made mistakes and apologise. As Rush puts it, if you realise your first reaction wasn't great, or you maybe said the wrong thing, I would really appreciate a parent bringing this up and saying, sorry, can we try that conversation again? And just take it from there. Want your child to learn to apologise? Apologise to them. Also, struggling with your child coming out or needing time to adjust doesn't make you a bad person. However, it is important to find a place to talk about your feelings and get support away from your child, so you're able to show up for your child without putting the burden of your concerns onto them. Try contacting Switchboard, which is a helpline run by trained LGBTQ+ volunteers who have lots of experience in supporting the straight parents of LGBTQ+ children. Fun fact, Switchboard has been around since 1974, and they're actually mentioned in the 2014 film Pride, which would be a really good film to watch with older teens to learn more about LGBTQ+ history together. And if it's not available in your country, well, that's what Surfshark is for. Actor Jonathan Bailey, who is a patron of Just Like Us, points out that this information and education wasn't available in previous generations, and it's okay not to know everything or know the perfect thing to say. There should be no shame in parents not understanding or knowing how best to support their LGBTQ+ children and their straight children to be allies. Only shame in parents who don't endeavour to protect, nurture and celebrate their LGBTQ+ children. Everything you're saying does make sense, but how do I actually start the conversation? Wouldn't it just be weird if I just brought up being gay out of nowhere? How to actually start the conversation? Awkward, probably. Aren't the majority of semi-serious conversations with your child incredibly awkward? Yeah, first, it is totally okay if these conversations are awkward. Another of the young people in the guide, Ruth, explains that it might feel quite contrived for a parent to bring up this topic, and the first time you chat about it, it might feel a bit forced, but it's not likely to feel such a big deal for your child. Plus, if they do turn out to be LGBTQ+, they'll be so grateful you did talk about this with them. Basically, it's definitely worth doing, even if it's a little bit awkward. Where there is silence, there is shame. And you need to normalise talking about LGBTQ+ issues for your child, even if you feel like it's not your place. Okay, I can do this. Great! Let's break it down by ages. Under 5s. Books and media are wonderful. Add a book including same-sex parents to your regular reads. I will leave a link in the description to my Amazon store where I have a special selection for these books. Heather has 2 mummies who love her very much, just like you have a mummy and a daddy who love you very much. Always emphasise variation when you're talking about parents. Those are the seats for the children, and that's where the mummies and the daddies and the mummies and the mamas and the daddies and the papas go. And it's great if there is a family you can actually connect the dots in your child's mind to. You have a mummy and a daddy, but some children have 1 parent or 2 parents or 3 or 4. Dylan in year 1 has 2 dads, doesn't he? They're married. Under 10s. Okay, they're probably more aware of the school calendar, so did you know it's Pride Month? Has your school been celebrating that? Your local Pride Parade is also a fun time for families. Should we go to Pride together as a family? Remember that you want to present being LGBTQ+ positively and supportively, because they've probably already heard negative comments about being queer already at school. Did you hear the term gay used as an insult at school? We actually don't use that word negatively in our family. It is completely fine to be gay. It's not an insult. Teenagers. Media is again going to be your friend here, but the type of things you're watching have changed. Historical dramas about important moments or people in LGBTQ+ history are a great way to strike up a conversation, especially if it's something you both don't already know. Oof, I'm glad so much has changed since then. It just shows how important it is to stand with the gay and trans community still now. Making sure to be fuzzy when mentioning gender when it comes to talking about your child's crushes is also a good look. Is there anyone you like at school at the moment? Since they're older, you can also share news articles about LGBTQ+ issues around the world. Bad things, yes, but also the triumphs. Oh look, Thailand has just legalised same-sex marriage. Isn't that wonderful? And if you realise that your child has somehow got to their late teens and you've never once even touched on the non-straight, non-cis subject, just be honest. So, I realised the other day that we've never actually talked about anything LGBTQ+ in any way, and that is my mistake. I should have let you know that I support the community and I am always available if you have any questions. Your grandparents didn't really talk about it with us, so we didn't really know where to begin, but I'm starting now. And if you're watching this video because you've already tried, failed, made some mistakes, said the wrong thing, didn't give a face you're proud of when your child came out, just acknowledge the mistakes and say sorry. Seeing that you're proactively trying to be an ally and doing your best makes the world of difference to your child. It's better to have the right spirit and the wrong words than to ignore the subject or speak negatively about LGBTQ+ people. Please don't panic about being woke. Even a parent admitting to a child that they don't know everything and they want to learn more and being okay with being corrected is an amazing thing to show a child. It's great role modelling. It might feel vulnerable, but that's such an empowering thing to show your child and a great skill for them to learn. Remember that it doesn't have to be a super serious talk. Going to a Pride event as a family is a really fun day out, as well as giving you lots of natural openings to start these conversations. It also demonstrates your solidarity with LGBTQ+ people with action as well as just words. It can show your children that there's nothing shameful about being queer or trans, and that showing up to support people who are different from you is important. Oh, I really like that idea. In conclusion, talk to your kids. Things like anti-LGBTQ+ bullying impacts all children, not just the ones who grow up to identify that way. Children who are perceived to be gay or trans are also bullied along with the children of LGBTQ+ parents. It's important that your child knows that you are fully accepting of LGBTQ+ people. Otherwise, it will be impossible for them to talk to you about facing homophobic or transphobic bullying, regardless of how they identify. Your home needs to be a safe and accepting place where the children know there's nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to embracing who you are, even if it isn't something their parents have a lot of experience with. Sadly, fathers are less likely than mothers to have had a conversation with their child about LGBTQ+ topics. 4 in 10 dads, that is, it's actually 38%, have never spoken to their child about LGBTQ+ topics compared to 3 in 10 mums. And, you know, fair enough, judging by the analytics of the people YouTube shows my videos to, you are less likely to actually be a dad watching this. Hello, largely female audience. If you know a dad, tell him, darling! And a special shout out to those of you who write in your own gender in the Google form. I've put a link to the Just Like Us guide for parents and carers in the video description, so please check it out. And even if you don't actually have children yourself, hi, love when you guys watch my parenting videos that aren't parents, you can still share the guide with friends and family. I think it's a really good resource for starting these conversations, and I hope you find it helpful. The author of the guide, Amy Ashenden, was also on an episode of the How Not to Screw Up Your Kids podcast, talking about the guide and how to be a better ally, which I will also include a link to in the video description. Highly recommend. Oh, I will definitely listen to that too. And I'm going to send the Just Like Us guide to my friends. I think they are as confused as I am. Now, then I can work out what's appropriate to wear to Pride. How do gay people dress? Okay, we'll work on that one. Follow me on Instagram at Jessica Out of the Closet for inspiration. Please leave a comment if you have any advice for talking to your children about LGBTQ+ topics, or if you would feel comfortable sharing what you wish your parents had said when you came out. I have a friend whose parents just kind of stared blankly at her until she got up and left the table. They're fine now. They just take 13 years, marriage to another woman and a baby to process things. Remember that it's okay to not get it completely right all the time. And it's okay if it feels awkward. And don't forget to click the link in the description or head to surfshark.com/Jessica and use code Jessica, that's my name, at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN for free. 4 months! If you want some recommendations for how books can start conversations about queerness with young children, I have a whole playlist about inclusive books for children you can check out. Or maybe my video about Moana 2 and why it's time for a queer Disney princess, which would be a really good way to bring up LGBTQ+ topics, really, wouldn't it? Okay, hang on, let me write those down so I remember them. Oh wait, I can just come back to the video to watch, can't I? Exactly. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!